Hi everyone, welcome back. If this kind of content helps you in any way, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It is a small gesture, but it really supports the work and helps this message reach more people who need it. Today, we are going to talk about something that silently steals your energy, your time, and your peace. Overthinking. Why overthinking drains you. That experience where you are not running or lifting weights or working hard physically, but you end the day feeling exhausted. Your body did almost nothing, but your mind ran a marathon. You lay in bed, the lights are off. You want to rest, but your thoughts are still awake. Repeating the same situations, the same questions, the same fears. What did they think of me? What if I made a mistake? What if this goes wrong? What if I never change? You replay past conversations. You imagine future problems. You try to control every possible outcome with your thoughts. And the more you think, the worse you feel. You know you are overthinking. You tell yourself, stop, enough, this is not helping. But the mind does not listen. It keeps going. If this feels familiar, you are not alone. Many people who look calm from the outside are carrying a storm inside their head. So today, we are going to explore why overthinking drains you so much and what you can begin to do to change this pattern, especially in your English, but also in your life. Let us start with an important truth. Your brain is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to protect you. Overthinking is usually a protection strategy that went too far. Your brain does not like uncertainty. It wants to know what will happen. It wants to avoid danger. It wants to avoid pain. So it creates a belief. If I think enough, if I analyze enough, if I imagine every scenario, then I will be safe. In small doses, this can be useful. Thinking before making a decision, reflecting on something you said, preparing for an important conversation. The problem begins when thinking does not lead to action or clarity. It only leads to more thinking. Instead of using thoughts to move, you use thoughts to avoid moving. You go in circles. This is overthinking. A car with the engine on, the wheels spinning, but the car is not moving forward. You are burning fuel, but you are not changing location. That fuel is your mental energy. That is why you feel so tired. Now let us look at some of the main ways overthinking drains you. First, overthinking creates emotional fatigue. Every thought you have is not just a sentence. It is also a small emotional event. When you imagine a negative scenario, your body reacts. Your heart may beat faster. Your muscles may tense. Your breathing may change. Even if the situation is not happening in reality, your nervous system is experiencing it as if it might be real. So if you spend hours inside your head, imagining what could go wrong, your body lives many small fears, many small stresses, without any real result. You are running emotional marathons in your mind. Of course you feel tired. The second way overthinking drains you is decision fatigue. Your brain has a limited daily capacity to make decisions. If you spend that capacity on small, endless questions, you have less energy left for the decisions that actually matter. How should I say this sentence? Is this word correct? Should I send this message now or later? Should I practice today or wait until I feel better? Should I use this method or that one? Overthinking turns even small choices into big negotiations. By the time you decide, you are already exhausted. Sometimes you do not decide at all. You say, I will think about it more later, which usually means I will continue to feel stuck. The third way overthinking drains you is through self-criticism. Overthinkers rarely repeat positive thoughts many times. They repeat worries, doubts, and judgments. You remember your mistakes in high definition. You analyze every word you said in English, every pause, every error. You say things to yourself like, I sounded stupid. My accent is terrible. They probably think I'm not intelligent. I should have said it better. Imagine living with the person who talks to you like this all day. You would feel tired, small, discouraged. That person is often your own mind. This constant self-attack drains you, not only emotionally, but also physically. Your nervous system stays in a state of tension. The fourth way overthinking drains you is by stealing your present moments. When you are with someone, your body is there, but your mind is in a different place. Thinking about what you just said. Thinking about how you look. Thinking about what you will say next. Thinking about some problem from yesterday. You are not really living the moment. You are living inside a simulation of the moment. This creates a strange experience. You were there, but you were not. Time passed, but you did not really feel it. When this happens again and again, life starts to feel like a series of blurry scenes instead of real memories. This also drains your joy, because joy lives in presence, not in analysis. Now let us bring this closer to your English. Many English learners do not realize how much overthinking is slowing them down. You want to speak, you want to practice, but before you say anything, your mind starts working. Is this the right word? Is this grammar correct? What if they do not understand? What if I make a mistake? What if they judge my accent? What if I sound childish? You build a mental checklist for every sentence. By the time you finish checking everything, the moment to speak has passed. Or you speak, but your voice is tense. Your words come out slowly because you are monitoring yourself every second. Speaking feels like walking while doing complicated math in your head. Of course, you feel tired after a few minutes. So you tell yourself, speaking English is exhausting. I cannot do it for long. But often, it is not the speaking itself that is exhausting. It is the overthinking around speaking. It is like carrying a heavy backpack while walking. The walk is not the problem. The backpack is. Now here is something important. Overthinking is not a sign that you are stupid. In fact, many overthinkers are very intelligent, very sensitive people. Their mind is very active. Their imagination is strong. The problem is not that you think. The problem is that you have not learned how to guide your thinking, when to use it, and when to gently stop. It is like having a powerful car and driving it constantly in small circles in the same parking lot. The car is not wrong, but you are not using it in a way that takes you somewhere new. So what can you do? How do you begin to think less and live more? How do you stop overthinking from draining you every day? We are not going to try to magically delete your thoughts. That is impossible. The more you say, do not think, the more your brain thinks. Instead, we will talk about understanding your overthinking, creating space around it, and slowly changing your relationship with your thoughts. Let us make this more practical. We can call this part From Overthinking to Clearer Living. A simple approach. The first step is awareness without attack. Many people only notice they are overthinking when they are already in the middle of the storm, and then they attack themselves. I am doing it again. I am so stupid. Why can I not stop? This only creates more stress. Instead, your first goal is simply to notice earlier and name what is happening without judgment. For example, you catch yourself thinking about a conversation again and again. You can say, "Right now, I am overthinking. My brain is trying to protect me, but it is going too far." You are not saying, "I am overthinking because I am broken." You are saying, "This is a pattern. I can see it." That small space between you and the thought is the beginning of change. The second step is to differentiate between thinking and problem solving. Thinking is not always problem solving. True problem solving has a direction. You define the problem. You look at real options. You choose an action. You test. You adjust. Overthinking is usually just spinning, repeating the same questions without moving to a decision. A simple question you can ask is, am I trying to solve something now, or am I only replaying it? If you are just replaying, you can gently say, this is not helping. I already know this story. I do not need to watch it again and again. Then, you can direct your attention to something in the present, your breath, your body, the sounds around you, a simple task in front of you, not as a fight, but as a redirection. The third step is to give your thinking a container. If you know you tend to overthink, you can create a specific time to think about certain things, instead of letting them invade every moment. For example, you can choose 10 to 15 minutes in the evening as your thinking time or worry time. You sit, take a paper, and write down the things you are worried about. You can ask, is there any small action I can take about this? If yes, you note it. If no, you write, this is not in my control today. When thoughts come later during the day, you can tell yourself, not now. I will think about this during my worry time. This sounds simple, but it helps your brain feel less out of control. It knows there will be a moment to process things. The fourth step is to change how you talk to yourself. If your inner voice is always harsh, your mind will stay in a defensive mode. You cannot relax around someone who constantly attacks you. You will always be trying to predict and control. So, start to notice the sentences you use against yourself. I always fail. I am so stupid. I cannot learn. People will laugh at me. Ask yourself, would I talk like this to a friend who is trying their best? If the answer is no, then that voice is not honesty. It is violence. A more helpful voice could say, I made a mistake, but that is how people learn. I am learning to speak English. It is normal to feel nervous. I do not know what they think, and I cannot control it. This does not mean you lie to yourself. It means you choose words that are true, but also kind. The fifth step is to move from pure thinking to small action. A lot of overthinking is the mind's way of delaying a difficult action. For example, you might spend 30 minutes thinking about sending a message in English. You imagine their reaction. You rewrite the sentence in your head many times. In the end, you are exhausted. Sometimes, you do not send it at all. What if, instead, you use those minutes to actually write and send a simple version? Action gives you real information. Thinking only gives you imagined information. When you act, You learn. Was it okay? Did they understand? Was it really as bad as I feared? Most of the time, the answer is, it was not perfect, but it was okay. Each time you see this, your brain learns. Maybe I do not need to think for 30 minutes before every small action. So, a practical question you can ask is there a small, concrete action I can do now, instead of thinking about this for the next hour? The sixth step is to include your body in the solution. Overthinking is not only a mental problem, it is also a physical state. Your nervous system is activated. Your body is in alert mode. If you only try to fight with thoughts, you ignore the physical part. Simple practices can help. Slowing your exhale. For example, breathe in for 4 seconds. Breathe out for 6. Walking for a few minutes. Without your phone. Paying attention to your feet, to your surroundings. Stretching your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. Areas that usually hold tension when you think too much. These actions send a message to your nervous system. We are safe right now. We can relax a little. When your body calms down, your thoughts often become less intense. The seventh step is to practice presence in small doses. You do not need to become a meditation master, but you can train your attention to stay a little more in the present. For example, when you are drinking water, just drink water. Feel the temperature. Notice the sensation. When you are listening to someone, really listen. Not preparing your answer while they speak. Just listening. When you are watching something in English, watch it with your full attention. No other apps, no multitasking. Each of these small practices is like a gym for your attention. You are teaching your mind that it can stay here without always running to the past or the future. Now let us connect this directly with your English in a practical way. We can call this part less overthinking, more English. A simple practice. First, choose a small daily English action that you will do even if your mind tries to overthink. For example, 3 to 5 minutes of speaking out loud about your day, or writing a short paragraph about something simple, or listening to a short piece of audio with full attention, 2 or 3 times. Second, before you start, expect that your mind will comment. It will not be good. You are tired. Do it tomorrow. You will make mistakes. Instead of fighting these thoughts, you can say, I hear you. You are trying to protect me, but for the next few minutes, we are just going to practice. Then, you start. Third, during the practice, when you feel your mind evaluating every word, bring your attention back to something simple. If you are speaking, focus on your breath, or on a point on the wall, or on the idea you want to express instead of every small detail. If you are listening, focus on the sounds, the rhythm, not on your fear of not understanding everything. Fourth, after you finish, resist the urge to replay the whole practice in your head 10 times. You can reflect a little. What was good? What was difficult? But do not turn it into a trial. You can say, I did it. It was not perfect, but I showed up. Then move on with your day. Over time, you will see that you can do English activities, even while having thoughts, without those thoughts controlling everything. This is the goal. Not to have zero thoughts, but to have a different relationship with them. Finally, remember this. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts are events that happen in your mind. They come. They stay a little. They go. Some are useful. Some are not. If you can learn to see them, name them, and sometimes let them pass without obeying all of them, overthinking loses a lot of its power. It will not disappear in one day. But step by step, you can transform your mind from a place of constant noise into a place with more space, more choice, and more peace. When this video ends, you do not need to control every thought, but you can choose one small thing. Maybe you practice a few minutes of English without stopping every sentence to judge yourself. Maybe you take 5 minutes to walk without your phone, just noticing your surroundings. Maybe you take one worry that has been spinning in your head and you write it down, together with one small action or the honest sentence. This is not in my control today. Overthinking has been draining you for a long time. You are allowed to build a new way of thinking, a new way of speaking English, and a new way of living inside your own mind. Slowly, gently, but truly.